Go.
Alright, today we're going to be talking about semicolons. Semicolons have two functions, but let's focus on the first one. First function. It is to link two closely related ideas that can stand on their own as individual sentences or two independent clauses. Alright, first example. I don't want to ride the roller coaster, semicolon. I'm afraid of heights and that ride looks terrifying. The first part of the sentence, I don't want to ride the roller coaster, that can stand alone as a sentence. And the second part, I'm afraid of heights, and that ride looks terrifying, that can stand alone as another sentence. But very similar and closely related sentences can be put together into the same sentence using semicolons. And in fact, I don't want to ride the roller coaster gives emphasis and some background on why the person is afraid of heights and that the ride looks terrifying. Semicolons sentences with semicolons can include introductory adverbs and or transition phrases. Example, Matthew wants to get a puppy. However, he thinks it might bother his allergic sister. See, we have the semicolon here, and you can add however, as long as the first part, Matthew wants to get a puppy, it can stand alone as an independent clause, which it can, and the next part, he thinks it might bother his allergic sister, which can also stand alone.
Action.
Alright, the second function for semicolons is when you have complex lists. When the items in your list require commas themselves. For example, I've traveled to Boston, Mass., Atlanta, Georgia, and Providence, Rhode Island. Here, the semicolons function for clarity. Without the semicolons, the sentence would have to be read, I've traveled to Boston, Mass., Atlanta, Georgia, and Providence, Rhode Island, but written like this. Boston, comma, Mass. And then you'd have to have another comma, Atlanta, Georgia, comma, Georgia. And then you'd have to say, and Providence, Rhode Island. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commas in a sentence that really needs 1, 2, and 3, and it makes it much more clear. Next, when you have a list within a list, for example, I need to buy a dictionary, a notebook, and a binder for English, a protractor for math, and a scale for chemistry. Without the semicolons, the sentence would have to be read, I need to buy a dictionary for English, a notebook for English, and a binder for English, a protractor for math, and a scale for chemistry. Because it needs to be able to, so you can be clear on what the dictionary is for, what the notebook's for, and what the binder's for. Without the semicolons, you'd have to add much more words, which makes it too long and too repetitive for the sentence.